start with LTSP. Lot balance beginning January 1, 2020 is 2,106.2516 or 202 land holdings. Less the accomplishment from January 1 to June 30, 2020, which is inside of tool. So a total land balance as of June 30, 2020, 2,095.6055 hectares or 201 land holdings. Less the deductible land holdings, problematic land holding, and distributed area, a total of 1,919.6067 hectares, 186 land holding. So our workable land balance ending June 30, 2020, additional for inclusion with RLBEP. So our workable balance with inclusion is 951.5266 minus the accomplishment from January to June outside of tool. So our total workable land balance ending June 30, 2020 is 917.6732 hectares composed of 32 land holdings. For the CF documentation, we don't have yet the accomplishment. For land valuation, our accomplishment is 13.4461 hectares, equivalent to 5% versus the annual target and 10% versus the first semester target. For EP-CLOA registration, and our accomplishment is 16.9986 hectares, 7% versus the annual target, 20% versus the first semester target. For the EP-CLOA distribution, our accomplishment 453.5156. For the percentage accomplishment, 201% versus the annual target and 499% versus the first semester target. For the ARB installation, 183.47% versus the whole year target and 54% versus the first semester target. So we now come to the facilitating and hindering factors. For the CF documentation, our hindering factors are as follows. The completed CF documentation, survey activities, and submission of SRs was hampered by Luzon ECQ. And so our recommendation or recommended solution is to fast-track the CF documentation and field survey activities and submission of survey returns and approval of survey request at DARPO. For the land valuation, our hindering factor is that the processing of claim folders were delayed due to enhanced community quarantine imposed on the entire Luzon, of course, including Mimaropa. So our recommendation is for the continuous follow-up of CFs at LBP for valuation. For the EP-CLOA registration, so our recommendation is consider availing other modes of delivery such as air cargo, door-to-door, and transmitting EP-CLOA titles to DARO and vice versa. For the EP-CLOA distribution, so our facilitating factor is that the distributed CLOAs were accomplished from previous year's target. So for the ARB installation, our hindering factor is that installation was postponed due to Luzon ECQ. So our recommendation is to reschedule the ARB installation. Okay, we now proceed to the catch-up plan for second semester 2020. For the CF documentation, our remaining target for the first SEM unaccomplished is 151 hectares. And our target for the second semester is 31 hectares, a total of 182 hectares. For the third quarter, we intend to deliver 151 hectares. And for the fourth quarter, 31 hectares. For the land valuation, it's around 119 hectares. Second SEM target is 128 hectares. A total of 248 hectares. In the third quarter, we intend to deliver 40 hectares. For the fourth quarter, 207 hectares. For the EP CLOA registration, our first SEM unaccomplished is 68 hectares. For the second SEM target, we have 174 hectares, a total of 242 hectares. Our second SEM projection is to deliver the 54 hectares sa third quarter, and for the fourth quarter, 188 hectares. For the EP CLOA distribution, it is worthy of note that as a region, we exceeded with the target. However, there are still 3 provinces who are not able to deliver their target. That's why we have some projection for the second semester. For the third quarter, there is a projection of 66 hectares, and for the fourth quarter, 75 hectares. So, for ARB installation, we have 330 unaccomplished for the first semester, and we have a second semester target of 52, a total of 382 ARBs to be installed. For the third quarter, 325 ARBs, and for the fourth quarter, 57 ARBs to be installed. We'll now proceed to the post-LAD activities physical performance as of June 21, 2020. For the leasehold operation, our accomplishment is 22 hectares. In terms of percentage, 75% versus the annual target and 187% versus the first semester target. For the subdivision of collective CLOAs, our annual target is 303 hectares, but unfortunately, we don't have the accomplishment. So, we will deliver the 303 hectares sa second semester. For the redocumentation of collective CLOAs, our accomplishment is 131.5963 hectares, equivalent to 14% versus the annual target and 39% versus the first semester target. For the DNYD lands, our accomplishment is only 3.1180 or 2% versus the annual and 6% as against the first semester. For the FSD, our annual target per net is 115 hectares. For the first quarter, we targeted 52. We don't have the accomplishment, so we will deliver the 115 hectares sa second semester. For the preparation of levies, and our accomplishment is 342 or 60% against the annual target and 112% against the first semester target. For the installation of uninstalled ARBs, our accomplishment is 85, equivalent to 110% versus the annual target and 230% versus the first semester targets. For the post-LAD activities facilitating and hindering factors, for the leasehold operation, the early documentation of leasehold contract as early as first quarter. For the redocumentation of collective CLOAs, the MARO and other LTS personnel were involved in the conduct of our BOLD project during the ECQ period. So our recommendation is to fast-track the recommendation process of collective CLOAs for individual titling from the DARMO level. Service vehicles should be provided for fast mobility in the conduct of said activity for every DARMO. For the DNYD lands, our hindering factor is gathering of documents from ROD and Assessor's Office was hampered by Luzon ECQ. So our recommendation is for the continuous follow-up of CFs submitted at LBP for valuation. For the FSD, our hindering factors, the signing of LVSFU and gathering of e-copy of titles from ROD was hampered by Luzon ECQ. So, we will fast-track the request in preparation of LBSFU. For the preparation of LADIS, facilitating factor is the constant follow-up of blocking documents with other line agencies, installation of uninstalled ARBs, early preparation of print-up installation, close coordination with DARMA personnel, ARBs, LGUs, and barangay level. For the catch-up plan for second semester 2020, for the leasehold, the balance of 8 will be delivered sa third quarter. For the subdivision of collective CLOA, our balance of 304 will be delivered in the third quarter, 154 hectares, and for the fourth quarter, 150 hectares. For the redocumentation of collective CLOA, our balance of around 784 hectares will be delivered in the third quarter, around 489 hectares and 295 for the fourth quarter. For the DNYD lands, our balance or remaining target of 147 will be delivered in the third quarter, around 37 hectares and 111 for the fourth quarter. For FSD, the 115 will be delivered in the third and fourth quarter. So 64 will be delivered in the third quarter and 51 hectares will be delivered sa fourth quarter. For the preparation of LADIS in terms of ARBs, the total remaining target of 230 will be delivered, 202 for the third quarter and 95 sa fourth quarter. For the installation of uninstalled FBs, our second sem target, which is 40, will be delivered by the third quarter. So, for the government-owned lands under EO 75, as of June 21, 2020, we targeted 2 land holdings, particularly from Oriental Mindoro and Palawan. For Oriental Mindoro, we targeted 1 land holding with 195 ARBs, equivalent to 500 hectares. This is the means cap. For Palawan, we targeted 1 land holding with 1,613 ARBs, consisting of 1,800 hectares. This is the very famous YKR, the Yulo King Ranch. For split project, there are 3 provinces involved, such as Marinduque, Occidental Mindoro, and Palawan. So for Marinduque, there are 1,992 land holdings, composed of 4,500 hectares. For Occidental Mindoro, there are around 178 land holdings with 554 areas. And finally, Palawan, with 700 land holdings, composed of 1,800 hectares. However, we can only deliver this year Occidental Mindoro with 554 hectares because the Marinduque of around 4,500 in Palawan, 1,800 cannot be definitely delivered this year but in the succeeding years. So meaning, no doable land holdings for this scope, Marinduque and Palawan. So that would be all for LTSP, and we'll now proceed with the legal. For case resolution, for the entire Mimaropa, our CY 2020 target is 285 cases to be resolved. We don't have ending balance, meaning Mimaropa is 0 backlog. Our total caseload is 228, of course, and we have resolved 180 cases. And the rate of resolution over caseload is 79%. For the land transfer, our annual target is 565 land transfer cases. Caseload as of June 21 is 290. Number of clearances processed is 290, and that is 100%. accomplishment over caseload and 51% of accomplishment over annual target. For conversion, caseload as of June 21 is 7. Number of clearances processed is 7. That is 100% accomplishment over caseload. For representation in judicial courts, caseload is 10. Number of cases submitted for a resolution is 1, and that is 10% of accomplishment over the caseload. For representation in quasi-judicial bodies, our caseload as of June 21 is 226. And number of cases submitted for resolution is 38, equivalent to 17% over caseload. So these are the facilitating and hindering factors. So the hindering factors are as follows. Appointment of DAR pro lawyers. 2 is the implementation of applicable community quarantine, restricted the means of travel due to limited transportation, which greatly impact the actual performance. And the imposition of respective health protocols, limiting the work in the government agencies such as in the DAR. The poor internet connection, especially in our island provinces. And finally, lack of IT equipment such as laptops, personal computers, and others. For the facilitating factors in the attainment for the target year, communication among DAROs and DARPOs, legal DARAB on a regular basis. Second, the DARCO ULAW BALA support as well as DAROS management support thanks to ULAW and BALA. And the conduct of IT trainings and seminars to adapt the new normal and to update the knowledge and skills of the legal sector. For the catch-up plan, the remaining target for the second semester, including the first semester unaccomplished, for case resolution, we have a total of 122 cases to be resolved. For the third quarter, we intend to resolve 71 cases and 51 for the fourth quarter. For the land transfer, we still need to resolve or process 275 land transfer cases. So, distributed for the third quarter, 153, and for the fourth quarter, 122. For conversion, our remaining target for the second sem is only 3 conversion cases to be accomplished. So, it will be delivered 2 for the third quarter and for 1 sa fourth quarter. For the representation in judicial court, our remaining target for second sem with the first sem unaccomplished na 13 will be delivered or projected in the second semester, particularly 3 for the third quarter and 10 sa fourth quarter. For the representation and quasi-judicial bodies, the remaining target for the second sem plus the first sem unaccomplished target is 395 cases. So it will be projected to be delivered within the third quarter of around 228 cases, and for the fourth quarter, 167 cases, total of 395. So that would be all for legal. We'll now proceed to the ARBDSP first semester accomplishment. For the output indicators, ARBs trained and ARBs served. So the total accomplishment for first semester is 4,654 or 68.50% as against the first semester target and 38.33% against the annual target. For ARBs with access to credit and microfinance services, with a total accomplishment for the first semester of 2,368, equivalent to 50.90% versus the first semester target, and 27.81% versus the annual target. For the ARB organization provided with technical, enterprise, farm support, and physical infra support, a total of 17 for the first semester, equivalent to 30.36% against the first semester target and 12.32% against the annual target. For supervision and management, 8.2, which is the sustainability monitoring of infra, previously completed and turned over to LGU for maintenance. A total accomplishment for the first semester of 27, equivalent to 29.67% versus the first semester target and 19.01% versus the annual target. For our bold component A, which is support to ARBOs as frontliners in food supply, our target is actually 62 ARBOs. We don't have the accomplishment yet because we intend to deliver the same within the third quarter, particularly in July. For the social infrastructure building, the C, our total accomplishment for the whole first semester is only 3, and that is 9.68% versus the first semester target and 4.11% versus the whole year or the annual target. For the capacity building on organizational building and management, number of ARB stream, we have a total accomplishment for first semester of around 669 ARB streams, equivalent to 18.71% against the first semester target and 9.98% against the annual target. For the ARB membership recruitment, the number of ARBOs involved, a total of 74 ARBOs for the whole first semester, equivalent to 117.46% as against the first semester target and 62.71% against the annual target. For the A.2, which is the ARB membership recruitment, number of ARBs trained, with a total accomplishment for the first semester of 1,627 ARBs trained, equivalent to 151.21% versus the first semester target and 76.93% as against the whole year's target. For the ARBOLD component D, which is the supplemental foods and non-foods packs, number of ARBs served, a total accomplishment for the first semester of 3,628 or 100% versus the first semester target and the annual target. For the Enterprise Development and Economic Supports, or the EDES, the Enterprise Development Intervention, our total accomplishment for the first semester is 7, equivalent to 16.67% versus the first semester target and 9.86% against the annual target. Under Enterprise Development Intervention, number of ARBs trained. So we have a total accomplishment for the first semester around 246 ARBs trained, equivalent to 8.96% against the first semester target and 5.09% against the annual target. 8.2, the provision of credit, number of organizations provided with credit, with a total accomplishment for the first semester of 11 organizations, equivalent to 137.50% against the first semester target and 78.57% against the annual target. 8.2, still under provision of credit services, number of ARBs provided with credit services, with a total accomplishment for the first semester of 372, equivalent to 178.85% versus the first semester target and 101.92% versus the annual target. Still under A.2, which is the provision of microfinance services, with a total accomplishment for the first semester of 1,996 ARBs, provided with microfinance services, equivalent to 44.93% as against the first semester target and 24.49% against the annual target. So 8.3, which is the provision of support facilities and equipment. Number of ARBOs provided with support facilities and equipment. So our total accomplishment for the first semester is 2, equivalent to 28.57% and 13.33% versus the annual target. 3.1, which is the ARBO component B, Farm Productivity Assistance to ARBs, with a total accomplishment for the first semester of 863, equivalent to 15.38% versus the first semester target and 15.38% versus the annual target. For our bold component C, which is the livelihood support for women, number of ARBs served, we targeted 75, but unfortunately, we don't have the accomplishment yet, but it's gonna be delivered within July, to be specific, July, the third quarter. For the climate resilient farm productivity supports, number of ARBOs provided with AES in farm inputs. So our total accomplishment for the first semester is 2, equivalent to 20% versus the first target and 11.76% versus the annual target. Let's now proceed to the facilitating and hindering factors. For the ARB strained, due to quarantine implementation brought by COVID-19 pandemic, conduct of scheduled training such as mass gathering has been halted, cancelled. Further, funds for SIB and EDES has already been modified to finance our bold project that can immediately provide emergency assistance to our ARBs. So our recommendation is that aside from focusing the implementation of our bold, DARPO to ensure continuous coordination with other ARBOs, ARBs, and provide technical guidance through small group meetings or phone calls and text messages. Under the indicator ARBs with access to credit and microfinance services operation of ARBOs were affected due to limited movement, of course, brought about by COVID-19 pandemic. So recommendation, continue link our ARBs to existing MFIs now that Mimaropa region is already categorized as low-risk pandemic. Another one is ARBOs provided with technical enterprise farm support and physical infra support. Since the onset of pandemic, interventions for ARBOs were cancelled. Okay, for the catch-up plan. So, for the supervision and management, which is the ARBO component A, support to ARBOs as frontliners in food supply with a total of course 62. So, this will be accomplished or delivered within the third quarter. For the SIB, sustainability monitoring of infra previously completed and turned over to LGUs for maintenance, with a total of 182 within the third quarter and 38 within the fourth quarter. For the enterprise development of economic support, our ARBOLD component B, which is the farm productivity assistance to ARBs, we have an unaccomplished target for the first semester of 4,747. So it will be distributed in the third quarter, particularly July or August. For the ARBOLD component C, which is the livelihood support to women in crisis situations, so definitely it will be delivered in July because we have done all the preparation, identification, etc. For the climate farm resilient productivity support, this is the provision of agro-extension services, sustainable livelihood support, and major crop-based farming. For the ARBOs, we have a remaining target of around 15, 9 to be distributed in third quarter and 4 for the fourth quarter. For the ARBs under CRFPS, a total of 587 ARBs By third quarter, we intend to deliver 319 ARVs, 268 ARVs in fourth quarter. For the provision of farm machinery and equipment implement, totaling to 17, ARBOs will be distributed 9 in third quarter and 8 in fourth quarters. For the financial report, for the supervision and management, total budget allotment for both is 3,110,000. Obligation from January to June is 782,000 or equivalent to 25.14%. This is under the regular. Available budget end of June is 2,328,000, broken down into regular and ARBO. For seed, so the total budget allotment is 2,867,000. Obligation from January to June is 2,316,000 or 80.78%. Available budget end of June is 551,000. For EDES, total budget allotment is 16,004,000. So obligation from January to June is 10,162,000 or 63.50%. For the CRFPS, so the total budget allotment is 12,475,000. Obligation from January to June is 704,000 or 5.64%. Available budget end of June is 11,771,000. So the grand total, so the total budget allotment is 34,456,000. Obligation from January to June is 13,964,000, equivalent to 40.53%. So available budget end of June is 20,492,000. We now proceed with the financial status as of June 30, 2020. For the General Administrative Service, overall summary, our budget under GAA is 51,603,000. Under the NBC, 580, which is deducted. There's a deduction of 4,031,164.02. SARO of 188,402. There is an adjusted budget of 47,760,237.98 pesos, with an obligation of 18,909,910 and disbursement of 15,016,182 pesos, an obligation rate of 40% and disbursement rate of 79%. Support Operations Division, our overall summary, under GAA we have 2 million budget, NBC 550 deduction of 200,000, SARO a special allotment of 1,201,415 with an adjusted budget of 3,001,415 pesos. There is an obligation of 1,134,130 pesos and a disbursement of 1,095,880, equivalent to an obligation rate of 38% and a disbursement rate of 97%. For the Land Tenure program, our total budget under GAA is 4,209,000 with a deduction under NBC 580 of 391,854 and an adjusted budget of 3,817,145 pesos. There is an obligation of 2,026,001 pesos and a disbursement of 752,520.96 with an obligation rate of 53% and a disbursement rate of 37%. For the Agrarian Justice Delivery, our budget under GAA is 13,689,000. Deduction under NBC 580 is 1,641,381 pesos with an adjusted budget of 12,047,618, in obligation of 2,711,535, and a disbursement of 2,649,197 pesos with an obligation rate of 23% and disbursement rate of 98%. For the PRBDSP, our budget under GAA is 30,890,000 with a special allotment of 3,565,280, an adjusted budget of 34,455,280 with an obligation of 13,964,162 pesos, disbursement of 7,382,550 with an obligation rate of 41% and disbursement rate of 53%. So the grand total under GAA is 102,391,000. Deduction under NBC 580 is 6,264,399. SARO of 4,951,097 pesos with an adjusted budget of 101,081,697 with an obligation of 38,746,739, disbursement of 26,896,331. So the obligation rate is 38% and the disbursement rate is 69%.
Good morning. Good morning, Sec Jan. Good morning, members of the EXECOM. This is my report for DAR MIMAROPA. For case resolution, this is the regular case and the just compensation cases. MIMAROPA has a total target of 822. The total beginning balance, which is the 2019 cases, is 42. 2020 received cases, 255. So we have a total caseload of 297. Cases resolved from 2019 received cases. We have two cut-off. This is the cut-off of June 21 and June 30. For June 21, we resolved 18 cases. On June 30, we already resolved 33 cases of the 42 cases beginning balance. Cases resolved for 2020, as of June 21, we resolved 43 cases. As of June 30, we resolved 55 cases. So the total cases resolved as of June 21 is 61, while the total cases resolved as of June 30 is 88. I just want to give emphasis on the June 30 accomplishment. For June 30, the unresolved cases for 2019 is only 9 remaining cases. For unresolved 2020, we still have 200 cases. So the total pending cases as of June 30 is 209. All the salas or all the provinces has already resolved all their beginning balance except for Occidental Mindoro. 9 na lang po yung cases nandito. So the rate of resolution for 2019 as of June 30, 79%. The rate of resolution over 2020 received cases is 22%. So the rate of resolution over caseload is 30%. Our facilitating and hindering factors. We have a close coordination with the legal division in the filing and processing of cases. This is in accordance with our Memorandum Number 195, Series of 2020 of Secretary John Castillo-Resurreccion. This is allowing the online processing and hearing of the cases, DAR cases. Also, we conduct regular online hearing. We invite the legal and as well as private counsel and parties. We also adopt summons and notice of hearing for online processing because we have to adjust with the how they submit their pleadings by electronic mail. Our hindering factors are difficulty in service of summons due to prohibited mass gathering, transportation, and other protocols in the quarantine areas. Failure of the client to submit pleadings and other documents because of the suspension of the period during the quarantine period and the commencement of the period, they are not aware that they can file online filing or online hearing. They can attend to online hearing. Difficulty and frequent rescheduling of online hearings due to poor internet service because of the island province. Mahirap po talaga kasi yung signal ng internet sa mga probinsya ng Mimaropa. Tapos meron din tayo po na limited adjudicators handling multiple salas. Dalawa lang po kami ni Parad Jeronimo handling the whole Mimaropa. Parties, particularly the farmers, does not have email address or internet access or services. Other government agencies are not yet ready or not yet internet ready. So let me proceed in the post-judgment activities. Our target is 50. We have received 31 motions for reconsideration and other post-judgment motion. We have resolved 30 of this motion for reconsideration received. For execution, our target is 120. The total accomplishment is 2. The same in June 21, as of June 21 and as of June 30. For implementation of writ of installation, our target is 392. We serve or we assist in the installation 29 of these 392. So let me go over with our catch-up plan. For case resolution, our total remaining target is 761. That is the total unaccomplished target plus the second semester target. So we have a projected target for the third quarter, 519, and for fourth quarter, 242. That is roughly 70% in third quarter and around 30% for the fourth quarter. In post-judgment, in the first sem, we exceeded our target by 7. Our second sem target is 27. So that leaves us with 20 remaining targets. So that will be 13 for our projected catch-up plan will be 13 for third quarter, 10 for fourth quarter. For execution, we have a total remaining target of 118. We will accomplish that by the third quarter with 72 and 46 in the fourth quarter. In the implementation of rate of installation, we will assist with the total projected target or remaining target for the first semester and the second semester, a total of 363. So for third quarter, we will assist in the installation of 305 and for fourth quarter, 83. That is our report for the DAR MIMAROPA. Thank you very much.